Hope you're having a good weekend. I wanted to make an update for some of my ETF investing. So I still do my long-term investing. That hasn't changed. I do it in tandem with day trading and now cryptocurrency trading. My stash portfolio has been doing really good. I'm at just under 20% gain, and this is a little over 1 year. Keeping in mind, I started this January of last year, so I'm continuing. I originally wanted to run this portfolio for about 4 years until the next major election, and I base it on kind of like the resources and direction the country's going, the things they spend their money on. So at the top we have Internet Titans at 20%, Defending America 28%, Money Machines 20%, Live Long and Prosper 18%, Raw Earth 18%, Essential Europe, which I added this year, this month, 7%, Robots Rising 10%, and Social Media 4%. Now, Robots Rising has been coming up really quick, as you can see here on the chart. It's way overbought, so if it's on your ETF or your stash and you're interested in getting it, I'd probably wait. You'd want to see it come down off this RSI, especially with the MACD. You have your three moving averages, your 9, 12, and 26, and they're all just shooting up really high, and you're really high off the 50-day, which is your blue line here. So using each of those, measurements, basically, it's anything over 70 is overbought considered with RSI, and that's kind of what I go off of when I do my long-term ETF investing. And whenever we kind of come to one of these support lines, like the 50-day or 200-day, or if you have previous resistance from in the past, or if you can draw lines on the chart, annotations, and you can do this all on stock. You could draw like a trend line like this. You could say it's holding to this line, and then you could put like another one here, and they don't have to be perfect, but you could see it's in this general trend, as well as the moving 50-day average. So it's kind of got like a double support in that sense because it's in this channel. So I would wait for it to correct back to maybe $42, $43, depending, because ideally when it comes close to the 50-day, or it touches it, or goes just slightly below it, somewhere in that range, that's usually what my first buy is. And my second buy will be if it drops lower and it kind of finds support somewhere else. I don't want to buy when it's up here. I bought down here along this 50-day line. I'm just holding it right now. But also in that oil, I sold some of my oil. I had a huge gain on it, so I just had to kind of sell some off. I basically sold $100 worth, and when one of my other ETFs basically dips down, I'm going to reinvest into it. On my, I think it has the date here. Yeah, so on January 15th, you can see here, I had a sale, just $100. So January 15th is kind of right around here where it's starting to go sideways a little bit, and you see the RSI coming down. You see the MACD, the 9-day, which is the not the 9-day, the the 12-day, which is the black line, coming to the 26-day right about here. So it's basically gonna test. It could cross and drop, which means up here it's going to cross and drop, which means the RSI is going to come down below the 70, so it'll kind of come out of the overbought range. Now it might consolidate a little bit and come back up. I'm really hoping it comes back down to the 50-day and touches it, and that would be a good buying opportunity for me to get back into my position. But we're just going to wait and see on that. And my other ETFs are pretty much just doing good. I'm not adding to them. I'm not trying to take anything away. And then I am looking at still my bookmark ETFs. I'm not really looking at some of these consistently, but I really want to do either Pacific Powerhouse or Up and Coming, because they're just ETFs that are in other countries, basically. So it's kind of like hedging my portfolio a little bit. You can see VPL, which is the Vanguard Pacific ETF. Oh, damn ads. Are you kidding me? There we go. And you can see it's kind of topping right here. It looks like the RSI is coming down a little bit. Even the MACD, same thing. The 12-day starting to curve a little bit and come back to the 20. But like I said, I'm gonna wait for it to come down to the 50-day blue line here on the chart because I want to follow that same support line. And this looks pretty much just like the other chart. You could draw some support lines, kind of giving you an idea. And again, they don't have to be perfect. It's kind of doing like a outward. It's getting a little outstretched. I would think this would come down a little bit, come down to this level and correct. That might be a good buying opportunity, as well as up and coming, which is was it VWO? And again, overbought. RSI looks like it kind of leveled right here, but then shot back up. MACD is a little more bullish than the other ones. It doesn't look like the 12 days coming back to correct on the 26, because you got the 12, 26, and 9 on the RSI, and the 9's down here in the blue, kind of like the wave looking bar graph. But all these signs are saying it's just really strong right now, so you don't want to buy. You'd be throwing your money at it, and at some point it's going to start top ticking. And that's when a lot of the big money that came in a lot lower, like around here, are going to sell, and then it's going to drop down. So don't get into that. You don't want to fall for that. Another interesting one, the women who lead ETF, which I find very interesting. The performance on it's really good. I guess it's only been around maybe 12 months because there's not much history on it, but you see 23%, which that's double digits. That's really good. And then you have just basically all the companies that are ran by women. So you have data shows gender diversity is linked to improved company performance, focus business with more women leaders. This fund also donates some of its profits, not your profits, to NPOs that empower women. So, and what's the ticker? She. How convenient. So when you look at it on a graph, look how strong this stock looks. This is a really good 5-year chart on this. Same thing. If you draw the lines, you can kind of see them touching from here to here. You got another set like right here about, and it's kind of going in this pattern. It's high off the 50-day. The RSI is overbought. The MACD says it's overbought. It's coming way off of the 9. We can even look at this on a 5. Actually, I guess we can't. We'll see. What does the 2-year give us? Okay, so it just barely started March of, I guess, 2016, and then it's been. Look at it though. This is pretty good since its inception. Pretty much, it seems like you have a. There we go. Can't draw my lines. So it looks like it kind of broke out of its trend that it was in, which it needs to kind of come back and check itself. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. So yeah, it's definitely overbought. It's going to might touch the top of this line for a little bit and consolidate. It looks like around $72 mark, but I think it's going to come down a little further and hopefully touch the 50-day. Then I might consider it buying it because that's another hedge to think about. Because definitely a lot of the ETFs that I own are ran by men. So to have gender diversity on top of individual ETF diversity by buying different sectors, I think it's just adding more and more, just spreading out my money, trying to be safe. Because ultimately, like, this is going to be my safest portfolio, where my day trading and my cryptocurrency trading is going to be my risk portfolios. So I'm really relying on my stash ETF to be that base foundation for me, and that's why I'm trying to stick with the stock market on that. There could be a bubble in the market; it could collapse. There could be a bubble in the cryptocurrency market and collapse. But either way, it's gonna look fine for me just by having it spread out. So just that extra option for an investment is a good idea. But yeah, I just kind of want to do an update on this one. I'm still doing cryptocurrency. The market came down. I'll make like another video on that, and it's starting to correct back up. So I'm watching it very closely. I made some buy orders, so when it was kind of around the lowest dip. It was really nice. But I'll make another video on that. But anyway, I just wanted to make this, keep it update. If you're using Stash, just keep at it. Remember, you don't have to stick with Stash if you want to go beyond it, but having that as a good base portfolio. ETFs are cheap, they're diversified naturally because they're multiple stocks in one sector, so you're not just buying like a tech company like Apple. You're buying Apple, Google, Amazon, Netflix. You're buying the whole sector, so it's a good way to spread your risk. But anyway, hope this was informative for you all.